Hello everybody, welcome in. I am happy to be back right now. I've got a really cool Watch Me Wednesday for you today. I'm actually broadcasting from the spare bedroom because I have a little bit of a trunk show for you. I promised that for you all, and I can't wait to show you some of the quilt tops that I have. I bet you none of you can relate to the fact that you finish up a project and you're so darn excited about it, but then you just don't quilt it. Well, I have a few of them here. I have a lot more that I could show you, but it would take me probably several hours to show you. I tend to try and get my quilt tops done, as most of us do, but some of them, they stay on the back burner, and some of them, I'm embarrassed to say, are not quilted, and they haven't been quilted for, we're talking years, and I'll talk about them when I get to it, so it's kind of fun. But anyway, welcome in everybody. I hope you're ready. If you want to share this video, I would super appreciate that so that any other quilters can get inspired by what I have. The big quilts I'm probably not going to hold up because I don't have a helper with me today, but I'm going to aim the camera so that you can see it laying on the bed. The small ones I will hold up for you. If you're unable to catch me live here, or you're catching me late or partway through the trunk show, you can always watch it afterwards. You can watch it here on my Facebook channel, or you can go over to YouTube. I will be uploading the video there to my YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, I would love it if you would. Give my videos a thumbs up and click on the little notification bell, because that way you'll never miss a new video or tutorial that is on my channel. With all that, welcome in, and let's get started, because this is what you came to see, the quilts on my bed. So let me just aim it down just a little bit, and I'm going to walk over here and I'm going to start showing you some quilts, and I'm going to tell you little stories about them too. So this very first quilt that I have, it's a small one. It's not my design, but I took a class with my friend Karen Eckmeyer back in Connecticut. Many of you probably know her. She's a wonderful designer. It's called Waves, Layered Waves, and I did purples, and you can see how it's all top stitch. It's beautiful. And then I decided to go kind of crazy. I'm going to show you up close. I found this beaded cording that I put in between the border and the actual inside. So, and I haven't quilted that yet. This was one of those ones that's years ago. So we're probably talking maybe a decade. Is that crazy? And it's small. I should quilt it. So that's the first one that I have to show you. Now, the second one, I am not going to lift it up. It is a big one. I can kind of, let me see, hang on one second. Let's see if I can just aim it down just a little more so you can kind of see. I'll lift up some of it because I can't hold the whole thing up because I am just not that tall. But this is a Judy Niemeyer, and many of you know that I am a Judy Niemeyer certified instructor, and this is her Prairie Star. Now, this also I made years and years ago. When she came out with one of her first batik lines and print lines, and I just love the colors of it. And I had it kitted up in my shop like this, and it sold out pretty darn quick. But I just love the colors, and I thought, oh, this will be super pretty for when we move to Arizona and I can hang it in my house. Well, it's still not quilted, so I cannot hang it because it's not quilted yet. So yeah, that's a problem when you don't quilt your quilts. So I'm just going to put these off to the side so I can show you the other ones here. This one here is actually one of my patterns. This one is called Scattered. And I had my friend Nedra Sorensen create the second version of it. with the colors and the black and white prints. And it's a super fun quilt to make, lots of negative space to quilt in. If you look on my website and see the original quilt, you'll see some fabulous quilting done by my friend Margaret Gunn. But it's 60-degree triangles, fun to make, easy to make, and it's called Scattered. So I'm going to scatter this on the floor over here. I know, heavens, can you believe it? And black was not a great choice to wear today because I'm getting threads all over the place. This quilt here is another quilt that I made years ago. You're never going to believe this. So this one actually is a K-facet pattern. They are not K-facet fabrics though. They are, believe it or not, these fabrics I actually found on a clearance sale, and I had to have one of every one. Didn't know what I was going to do with them at the time, but I said, oh well, let's pick them up. And then I saw this great pattern by Kafe, and I said, that's what I'm going to do with them. And I just love it. And I have not, it reminds me of Peru and my trips to Peru, the color and the pattern and everything. And I have not quilted it yet, but this one's going to be an easy overall probably design. So here's a cute little one that I did, and many of you probably don't know, but I do have a super love for 1930s prints, and these are repros, obviously, but I had some and I wanted to make a quick little project, and this is teeny tiny little project. Isn't that cute? So, and of course it's small, but I haven't quilted it yet. Now, a lot of you know me because I love black and white and color. Years ago, I had started a black and white blog where I had contributors contributing to it, over 100 people, I believe. And every time they made something with black and white and color, they would contribute to it. Anyway, this is one of the quilts I made, and it's still not quilted, but you all know I love hot pink because that's one of my favorites. It's super easy quilt to make, and I cannot remember the name of the pattern, but it's basically kind of a half square triangle with a insert of pink in there, sort of. And I really wish I could remember the name of the pattern, but I don't. But those were some of the fabrics from my black and white stash, and I actually still have a lot of those fabrics because I just have such a big black and white stash. Comes in handy. So that is another one that needs to get quilted. And this probably will not get any special quilting on it. I think probably just an overall design when I get to it. This quilt here, I absolutely loved. And I still love it. I still love it. This is all batik. And it was from a book. It was from a scrappy quilt book. But I just so enjoyed it. I wanted to make something really kind of bright and cheerful, and my inspiration fabric was the border fabric, so I just pulled colors that I had in my stash to create this quilt. And I just like how the blocks are kind of cattywampus, just really kind of cool, and still a favorite quilt of mine. And sometimes it's those quilts that become like your favorite quilts that you just not sure how you're going to quilt them, but so you kind of put them on a hanger, which is where all these are. They're on hangers in my closet, and you have to think through them, how you're going to quilt them. So anyway, so that quilt is a favorite of mine. This quilt, a lot of you probably saw me making this one. In fact, a lot of you might have made this. This is one of my most popular selling patterns. It's called Island Breeze. And this actually, I've done it in so many different versions. This one was done, I did it in my K-facet fabrics. And this is what I originally designed it in, although the cover of the quilt, the cover of the pattern is all done in Island Batik fabrics. I had to make it in the K-facet that I originally designed it in because I just Loved it. So I have this quilt made up in so many different, see this? I'm getting strings and fuzz all over me. I have them made up in so many different fabrics that you really kind of get an idea of what this pattern can look like. And this one's called Island Breeze. And again, it's one of my most popular patterns, and I love teaching this one. It's a great pattern, and it's a nice size quilt too. Okay, next one. This one, love this quilt, and I have a funny story about this one. So this is a Glad Creations patterns, and Glad Creations is actually not around anymore, as far as I know. I did it as a mystery quilt, and I did it in the boutiques, and I just love this quilt so much. It's bright, it's bold, it's everything that I love. And when I was done with this quilt, I remember coming downstairs in my house in Connecticut, coming down, and I said, I'm done with this quilt. And I was showing my husband, and he stopped, and he looked at it, and he said, And I said, what's the matter? He says, are we keeping this one? And I said, well, yeah, why wouldn't we? He says, I'm just not liking this. There's too much going on. He loves all my black and white quilts because it's, you know, it's black and white. I mean, I don't know how else to say it, but he's a very logical thinker. And when there's too much going on, it bothers his brain. So he doesn't like scrappy quilts, and he doesn't like quilts that have lots of color too. So unfortunately for him, we're keeping this one. So, but this is kind of you can kind of see the top and the, this one, and the pattern name, if it's still out there, is called Simply Fun. And I agree, this pattern is simply fun. And I love it. I love it. So, that is one of my favorite quilts, not one of my designs, but it is one of my favorites. It just makes me smile. When I took it out today to lay it down on the bed, I was just smiling from ear to ear because I forgot how much I love this quilt and need to get it quilted. So I'm curious, at the end I'll take some questions, but I'm curious about, you know, how many of you have quilts that have been sitting for maybe years like me. You haven't got them quilted. So this one is a new one that I just did, and I have to get it quilted. I'm actually teaching this class in Shipshewana Quilt Festival next week. This is with my Blinded by Science fabric collection. This is Lotus Flower by QuiltWorks, and it went together fairly quickly, fairly easily. And this pattern will be available on my site when it's actually published. It's not quite published yet, but the sister pattern, which is behind me, I'll show you next, is actually on my site, so you can actually grab that if you want. But that one, and I'm sorry the colors aren't showing up real well in here. I have the, I'm trying to get as much natural light in here as I can, but it's tough because right now it's a little cloudy out. It's mostly due to fires that are some miles away, but the smoke is kind of coming, so it's kind of dingy outside. Anyway, this pattern is another one I'm teaching at Shipshewana. This is the one I was saying, it is on my website. It's called Dragonflies and Butterflies. It's basically the same block as the previous one that I showed you, but it's just in a larger quilt, and the blocks are turned so that it forms, like, if you will, like these, where is it? These over here, like dragonflies, butterfly kind of thing. So, and that's also done in my Blinded by Science collection, which, by the way, I have lots of it still available on my website. So if you like this collection, you can get it on my website. And I'm going to come out of here. I'm going to have to roll myself in some masking tape because I'm getting all kinds of threads on me. This one, my friend Kyra, and I think she's here watching today. So this is my Twist and Shout pattern, and it's a new quilt top that I have to quilt, but it's my Twist and Shout pattern, which is available on my website. And I asked her to do this pattern for me in my Blinded by Science collection. And this is how it turned out. I just got it back from her this week. So I was super pleased when I opened up the package, and now it's yet another quilt top to quilt. Yay! But it's a fun pattern if you are interested in that one. Okay, so moving right along. A lot of you saw me making this one, and I actually, by the way, some of these quilts that I'm going to be showing you coming up, they do have tutorials on them on my YouTube channel, so you can see them, including this one. So this is the one that I just taught in Las Vegas. This is my friend Claudia Files' pattern called Breeze. So it's a big one, and it's a fun one to make. It's a little time consuming, not hard, a little time consuming because you're making a lot of strip sets. Not difficult to make, but super fun in the end. I love how it turns out, and it's called Breeze. I do not have this pattern available. You can get it on Stitch in Heaven's website, or if you can't find it there, I would just call them. They have it available, and they may actually still have some kits with just these fabrics too. So if you're not finding it on their website, you can definitely give them a call and say Jackie Kunkel sent you, and they should be able to direct you to the right place. So next one here, this one I did a tutorial on that is on my YouTube channel. I did use my fabric collections. I used a little bit from all my fabric collections in here to create a rainbow quilt, and I love this quilt. But the block, I used these templates that are Creative Grids templates to create the blocks. So they're kind of like a crazy block, if you can see. And then what I did is I just created my own border versions. And I love how this quilt, I just kind of went crazy with it. And I just made as many blocks as I wanted until it got too big for my design wall. And then I said, okay, that's enough. Let's go ahead and put some borders on. So this quilt, there is a tutorial for it, and you can see how to make the blocks. And I just basically, I used scraps. I went into my scrap bucket, pulled out all the colors that I wanted, and just kind of went to town. So I don't know what the yardages would be on it, but you can go watch my tutorial to see how I did it. And then I just kind of made a block every couple days, or made a few blocks, and that's how that got done. This one, next one, I also did the same thing. I did it with my Mandala Magic fabric line, and I still have this on my website as well as the Blinded by Science. But this one was the double pinwheel tutorial. So the tutorial is available on my YouTube. It's a double pinwheel, and it's super fun, super easy, and it's a strip-friendly pattern. So, and I just kind of went with a totally different layout. I just kind of made up this layout myself, and I like it. It makes a nice little wall-size quilt, or a baby quilt, or a picnic. You can use it, lay it down for a picnic. So, kind of fun, and this tutorial is also on my YouTube channel as well. The next one here, I actually just put a picture up, a post up about it this morning. Go back there. There we go. Okay, this one is my treasure chest quilt, and I use my Ancient Etchings fabric line to do this. I actually, last year at this time, my friend Lisa was here, and we were filming this class, this online class, which I launched last summer. And honestly, when we were filming this class, I had a broken ankle. So if you're in the class and you watched it, if you go back and watch it again, I actually was in a boot at the time filming this class, and we had a blast doing it. Lisa was fantastic. But this class is super fun to do. So if you're not familiar with my online classes, go check that out. You can access them from my website. This one is actually the price of a pattern, and the pattern's included in the class. So super easy, super fun to do, and yeah, I had a lot of fun making this one. But do you believe it? So a year ago, I made this quilt, and it's still not quilted yet. It will get, this one's going to get a nice overall pattern on it. Next one here. So this one's still in a stage. This is my other online class that I have. This is called Cactus and Blooms. So this one's still in a stage. I still don't have the border on it. So for those of you who are in this class and are wondering, well, that quilt doesn't look complete, because it's not. It's still a top, and I still need to put the 2 borders on. But this one is a paper piecing class. So if you've ever wanted to learn how to paper piece, you can certainly do so by making this quilt, and it's an easy one to start with. But I not only have to quilt this, but I also have to put the borders on. So that's got to get done. Now we're getting into some antique, I should say, or oldies but goodies, because these have been hanging around way too long. There's no excuses as to why these are not quilted yet. So let me show you what we got here. So this beautiful one is a double wedding ring quilt, but it's a Judy Niemeyer pattern. And you could tell, now I made this years ago, okay? And you could tell these are totally different colors. I just love this color palette though. I still love it. It's these pinks and these greens and this beigey kind of cream color for the background. And my whole idea for this one is to get some really awesome quilting on this. That's why it's not done yet, because I just have not had the time to do some awesome quilting on this. But it's a beautiful double wedding ring quilt, and it is a Judy Niemeyer pattern. So I made this one probably, ooh, I hate to even say it, oh, maybe 16 years ago, something like that. But crazy, crazy, crazy long time ago. And it's just not done now. You're going to laugh at the next one because of how long I have not had this one done. The next one is the very first Judy Niemeyer quilt that I actually ever made. It's called 4th of July, and I made this exactly 20 years ago. 20 years ago, do you believe it? It is still not quilted. I adore this quilt. There is probably over 56 or 58, something like that, different fabrics in this quilt, and I adore this quilt so much. First Judy Niemeyer quilt I ever made, and it's not quilted. Like 20 years ago. How can that possibly be? So I think I need to do something about this one soon-ish. And I'd be curious to see if you guys type in the comments what's your oldest quilt top that you don't have quilted. I would love to know if you're at the same spot that I am with quilts. This guy is a huge one. And I don't know if I can really lift this one up and give you really a proper perspective. This one is the last one, I believe, that I'm showing you. Yep. This one is the very second technique of the month that Judy Niemeyer ever published and put out. This is the Mariner's Compass. It is the only technique of the month that I've done and taught that I still do not have quilted. Is that crazy? So this one was probably, I can't remember what year she put this out in, but it's got to be at least 8 years, maybe. It's got to be at least 8 years, I think. And let's see how much of this I can show you, if you even get the gist of it. It's huge. But, and I did post a picture of this yesterday. So if you want to see the whole thing, a better picture of it, you can actually see the whole quilt posted there. So anyway, those are my quilts. Not all of them, I will say, not all of the quilts that I haven't quilted yet, because I have more, trust me. I was going through them today to see which ones I wanted to show you and see what you guys might think of, which ones you might like better to see. So I selected the ones that I thought would, have some kind of impact or inspiration for you. But Yeah, it's crazy. I have so many, but I know that none of you have that too, right? Or do you? Am I in good company? So let's see. And if you have any questions, please go ahead and put them in the comments because I'd love to answer any questions. So let's see what we've got here. Scrolling back here. Yes, happy Monsoon Wednesday, Kyra. Yes, last night we had, so Kyra lives here in Arizona as well, and we had some high winds last night. We didn't get any rain here, but monsoon season is going to start early. So I think I'm trying to stay cool. Yes, Sue is trying to stay cool. Yeah, definitely. We're having a hot week here, hotter than normal for this time of year. Let's see. Lisa is still making her Island Breeze in K Facet. Awesome. Kyra says, let's see, let's put her up here because I can't read this small. Love that Island Breeze. You know, you could buy some more K fabrics and add flying geese. Oh my God. So yeah. So Kyra, you're so funny. So Kyra took this class with me here in Arizona, the Island Breeze class. And she did a phenomenal job with her Island Breeze. She actually added more flying geese on the borders. Beautiful. Made it larger. Made it super beautiful. Love it. So, yeah. Let's see. Patty says, don't feel bad. I made a lot of quilt tops last year. They are not quilted. Patty, that's only last year. Do you have any that are 20 years old? So funny. Let's see. Sue says, my oldest top, still waiting to be quilted, is about 20 years old. Awesome. Sue. Yay. I have been redeemed, I think. So I'm not the only one with a 20-year-old quilt top. Thank you. No, Carol says, everything is finished. I might get struck by lightning. I hope not, Carol, but kudos to you. That's awesome. I am so happy that you have everything finished. Do you want to come to my house and help me finish mine? That'd be awesome. Now I have just a little bit extra time on my hands because now my husband's retired. Not so much extra time. Because now when I have free time, he wants me to do things with him. So I don't have free time anymore. No free time for Jackie. Let's see. Jean says 1997. Okay, you win, Jean. You win. 1997. Wow. I actually have to look through my quilts to see if there was anything older than 20 years. I don't think so, but I could be wrong. But wow, that's crazy. Okay, get that quilted, Jean. I challenge you to get that quilted. I may cut this one up. Don't cut it up. Okay, Carol was kidding. Awesome. So good. So now I don't have to feel so bad because Carol was kidding. She really doesn't have anything finished. I was really happy for you. That's awesome. So does anybody have any questions that I can answer before I log off here? And next week I will be away in Shipshewana teaching. So remember, every other week I'm doing my Watch Me Wednesdays. My husband's coming with me to Shipshewana, Indiana. Since he doesn't have to work anymore, he can travel with me, which is great. So he's coming with me. I'm looking forward to that. Let's see. Yes, Victoria Finley Wolf style. Cut it up. Cut it up. That's right. So anyway, if there are no questions, I hope that you all have a fantastic next couple weeks. For those of you who are living here in Arizona or on the West Coast, let's see. Kyra has a question. Let's put it up on there. Hang on a second. So what's the best way to keep the edges of a quilt top from fraying and seams separating? Yes. Okay, so question. That question is answered by, let me see if I can show you what I did. It's all the way at the bottom. So I'm going to describe it. Best way is number one, don't touch it over and over again, obviously. But I sew in, I bump it up to a stitch of about 3.0 on my sewing machine and about 1/8 of an inch in from the edge of the border. I stitch around the entire quilt top. And that will keep if you have a piece border, that'll keep it together, and it'll also keep it from fraying if you don't plan on quilting it right away. So that is an awesome question. Thank you, Kyra, for asking that. Let's see. And I think that's probably it, I'm guessing. And I know there's a little bit of a delay for me to see your questions popping up. But anyway, I want to wish you a very nice next 2 weeks. Stay cool wherever you are. If you're going to be in Shipshewana, I look forward to seeing you. Thank you for coming in and seeing my quilt top trunk show. Now go get those quilt tops quilted. And I'll see you all in 2 weeks. Happy quilting, everybody. Bye-bye.